Before watching this video, please make sure to watch Rodrigo's Uncanny Alley on either YouTube or Adult Swim. It's split into 3 episodes with only a runtime of 8 minutes. It's hard to find something that genuinely intrigues me these days. There's media that grabs your attention and keeps you interested, but then there's that one story, that one visual medium that manages to stick around in your mind despite walking away from it. Peering out at a view or working on a task, what's on your mind isn't the present, but instead what you had seen in the past. Uncanny Alley by Rodrigo Souza, to me, is complete dog shit. Like, what is this bullshit? Frogs can't do that. I'm kidding, obviously. Frogs can do that. But this mini-series has latched onto me like, what? And I'd like to discuss what I like about it and also provide some facts that you may find interesting. To properly dissect this, though, let's simply go episode by episode. A strange curse spreads throughout a small town. This is the moment that makes it obvious that something is off. There's this rude-ass balding guy staring with a planet for a fucking skull, where instead of looking like hair, it looks like he has inhabitants with a dwindling population. This first episode makes it apparent that the creator is wanting to tie horror with comedy. I think it creates a nice balance of tension. This woman is trying so desperately to just watch the movie, and this tub of lard just found a midnight snack. As we can see here though, something is protruding from this man's skin, which then carries over to the woman's armchair despite it being inorganic, and even after running away, it's too late. With this being a curse, I suppose it can go beyond things like spreading from organic matter to inorganic matter, and for whatever reason, it seems to want to spread amongst people as hosts. Putting that aside though, throughout these shorts you'll notice the sort of similar yet distinct styles being played out here. Whether it be the art styles, camera direction, or even the tones being shifted despite this horrific experience unfolding. It all comes together to showcase how sudden and unsettling this all really is. With that being said, let's move on to the next episode. Let's pause right there. This is the same woman from episode 1. This occurs in episode 3 as well, but I find it interesting how, in a way, this is one ongoing sequence of events. Once again tying humor and comedy together, despite this haunting soundtrack occurring in the background. You would think a janitor would see this and immediately choose flight, but instead they're simply just agitated by the fact that he now has to clean up after this loser just goddamn plastered on his face. The janitor goes to investigate where the ring lady went off to and finds that yoga is weird as fuck. And once again, I'd like to point out the distinct styles going on here. Look at her when she first walks in compared to now. Back before, it was almost cartoonish, whereas now, it plays so much harder into the realistic portrayal of what this pose would look like. I just find it interesting that simply dumbing down the animation style, while still looking fluid and great by the way, like, manages to capture a less serious tone. The janitor sits and stares at her, and then suddenly, the woman portrays what modern-day English sounds like to a foreigner, in which this sequence of events plays out. Now, I tried looking into this, but it seems like things like the text being showcased here, for example, isn't real text. It's not from any language or anything, but I'm sure it's inspired. All of this subliminal messaging might be inspired by things like Egyptian hieroglyphics and art in general. Yet, Since it isn't exactly from anything you could find in history besides similarities, it honestly makes it even more alien than if it were recognizable history. It obviously seems ancient of some sort, but what does it want? Rodrigo said these scenes where the janitor's nervous system flies away were simply inspired by pictures of a human's nervous system. Because once splayed out, he really does look weird. Like, it's almost alien. It's very odd. Now, this is completely theoretical on my part, but in these subliminal images, we get a couple of glimpses of this moon figure. And at the end of this short, we see the janitor flying towards the sky. Perhaps there's some correlation there, I'm unsure, but I figured if there's any lore, maybe it has something to do with that. I don't know. Just to glaze this though, the animation here is so good, and the music is so scary. You can't help but ask, why is this happening? Why would something want to take away your nervous system? The imagery is horrific, and this is my favorite episode out of the 3. Though, let's see what the next one has to offer. What we're seeing here is live footage of Asmongold's upbringing. After sending this picture to his friend, we get a shot of his ceiling of his room, where it showcases aliens amongst stars. And once again, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but perhaps this curse or whatever is infesting this town, maybe it's due to something from somewhere that we've never seen before. The unnamed character goes to sleep, and the same smile you'd get from a friend who's ready to pour boiling hot water on you as a prank begins to continue this infestation. Now, if you look closely here in this scene, this disgusting little centipede creature has freckles, just like the janitor from the prior episode. It's the same guy. My favorite detail from this episode is that if you look to the left of this poor guy, you can see just how long the janitor is now, and he's curled himself all the way around the bed. For some odd reason, this curse seems to manifest itself into bug-like creatures. Perhaps it's just easy or a convenient form to take when here on Earth. That's pretty much it though, really. From the way the dude moves when he turns into a bug, the way the animation style drastically changes to shift the tone, the animation in general, it's so well made. I simply could not help myself but make a video on this. This man is currently creating a horror project called Playground. I found out about Uncanny Alley through that project, and I highly recommend watching the trailer for it because it's so full of creativity and horrific imagery. I'm not sure exactly what's going on in Uncanny Alley. I mean, you could just chalk it up to be, yeah, there's a curse going around. But not a single human character says a word, and nobody knows what's going on. The curse spreads like wildfire, and nobody is quick enough to even know that it needs to be extinguished. All we get is a few shots of unexplained images of something ancient, which apparently ends up deciding that the janitor is not okay with how he currently is and must be fixed. There simply isn't enough to go off of to make a proper analysis. That about wraps it up, really. I wanted to showcase and appreciate this miniseries because it deserves all of the attention it can get. Again, please go check out Playground and even consider supporting Rodrigo's Patreon if you have the money for it. Because if you're a fan of horror, then this is what we need. If you have any more series you'd like me to cover for future videos, then make sure to leave a comment down below. Otherwise, this was fun, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.